Hello, friends. How's it going? Is it going well? I'm glad. I have too many drinks on my desk. It has also been kind of chaos in the last hour. It was very vibey. I was like, "Oh, cool. I've got a bunch of work done. I'm going to stream later." And then everything broke on the computer. Nothing was working. It's awful. Hi. Hello. What is good? I need more drinks. Yes, I have 2 soda waters, a Celsius, 2 coffees, water, and a Gatorade. I am full of beverages. So today is something very fun that I've wanted to do for a while. I'm going to teach voiceover to all of you with some of my voiceover friends. Specifically Tim and Kayla. They are some of the best in the biz. They are pro VOs. You've probably heard them before. Yeah, we're going to talk about voiceover. So if you're here for that, great. If you're not, why the fuck are you here? But I hope you learned something. I'm going to call Kayla first and see where she... Kayla. Oh, hello. Aurora. Hi. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. Why is my mic not working? Hold on. Check, check, check. Okay, there we go. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. There we go. But yeah, we're gonna teach VO today, which is really cool. Very excited. I don't know where Kayla's at yet, so we're gonna wait for her. And also, Tim is going to be joining us shortly. But yeah, so switch to this. How to VO very good. Very, very good. That's what we're going to learn today. How do I do the VO very good? It's also like 12:06 a.m., so I'm not going to be here long. Well, that's unfortunate. Vox SMP when? Dude, I had Vox SMP for the longest time, and no one used it. So, my most hated mic. As you'll find out, my friend, it's not about the microphone. Because there are different mics that will work best for everyone. What works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. How to VO very, very good. Now, I just need Kayla and Tim to show up. Also, Discord news when? Fucking probably soon, because we need to do that again, even though Lucci, who's in the comments, is like, no. That's very good. Dave and Buster's is very good. I miss Dave and Buster's. I wonder what happens if I what happens while we're waiting if I do this? I don't like the color that it just turned. I don't like that. That's delightful. Oh my God, that's so good. Oh. Yum, yum, yum. All over my fucking shit. Delicious. That's actually great. Meanwhile, as I wait for my VO friends, I'm just making potions. Oh my God. That's such an acrid green. Oh, this is probably not good. Oh, thanks, Hiccup. I appreciate that, bud. I'm going to be hydrated and energized. Oh. Okay. Where is George? No, genuinely. Like, this is the peach vibe Celsius and a blue Gatorade that now has clearly become a green Gatorade. How have they not come up with caffeinated Gatorades yet? That's my question. I'm out here just changing the goddamn game. I am truly a scientist. Call me Coldplay because I do be the scientist. I'm going to be a senior this coming September. Any advice? Hell yeah. Senior in high school or college? That's the real question. I'm casting spells. I am trying to see where all my VO friends are. I am. Hunter, look at your phone. I'm trying to add both of you. Why are both of you not accepting friend request? Kayla. Kayla. I'm calling you. Apparently, stop making weird drinks and Lucas. Where are you on Discord? I've been on Discord. I've been waiting for both of you. Oh, hi, Kayla. I just see that you followed me on Twitch while I'm calling you on Discord and you have not showed up. God, okay. This is so funny. Oh my God. Tim, where are you?
Hello.
Hi. Where?
Hey.
Hello. Where is Tim?
Tim's here.
Where? Oh my God, Tim. Tim, you fucker.
Hey.
Hey. What the fuck?
Where are you?
I'm here. Okay, hold on. I'm adding Kayla to this. God damn it. Both of you are just absolutely. Hold on. Are we just technically
I'm watching you on Twitch right now, and also like.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna just do this as a group chat because clearly this is not fucking working. This is so funny.
All right, I'm hanging up on.
Yeah,
Discord.
you do.
Just call us somehow.
Calm down. Okay, Kayla. Okay.
I'm hanging up. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. I'm just going. Swear to God. It's like, what have we done? What justice hath we wrought? Oh my Timothy. George. Everything is breaking, George. There he is. Okay. Now we do the ding. Now Hunter do the call. Okay. Hi.
I made it.
Hey.
There we go. Okay,
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen in chat, welcome my dear friends Tim and Kayla. Say hi.
Hey chat, I'm Tim.
Hello.
Okay. Here we go. 2 brain cells and the Twitch streamer. God damn it. That's so rude. That's very rude. Anyway.
Listen, you guys, I thought today was my turn with the bell.
No, I genuinely between the three of us, it's like 2 brain cells and a stick trying to start a fire. It's not. It's not happening. It's not happening. Well, do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sure, Kayla, ladies first.
Ladies first.
Oh, thank you. Oh, hold on. I got to mute you on Twitch. There we go. Okay. Hey guys. My name is Kayla. I don't know what else to say. I'm a voice actor and a Twitch streamer, and I like video games, and here to have a good time. So yeah, thanks for having me.
And she was also just on a really cool VO retreat with a bunch of awesome people. And did you do some teaching when you were in Holland, or were you
Um, I
like
didn't. No, I didn't do any teaching while I was there. I was a student while I was there, which was great. I had some pretty good classes. I got to work with some pretty awesome people. And I am teaching though at the One Voice conference in Dallas in the fall.
So if you are in Dallas, you should go because that would be really cool. Timothy!
Yeah, we're doing a really cool, fun
Yes.
copy workout. So come hang out.
Yeah. Timothy, who are you? What?
Yay.
Who are you?
Yes, George.
Hello, George.
Hey, I am Tim Heller. I live just outside of the Austin area. I am a voice actor as well in video games and animation and commercials and all the different things. My company, Tim Heller Creative, also casts and produces a lot of audiobooks. And I do a little creative consulting on the side. Sometimes it's video work, sometimes it's brand messaging work, and sometimes it's just me goofing around. But yeah, I'm very excited to hang out. I'm also speaking at Dallas at the One Voice conference and talking a little bit about the journey I've had with ADHD and building two and a half businesses accidentally. So yeah, no major secrets, but just a lot of fun and distraction.
Tim and I are working on 2 audiobooks together right now.
Yeah, oh my God. Hunter got the 2 largest audiobooks that my company has seen, got the auditions the same or a day apart, turned them in, and booked them both within like 48 hours. And I was like, dude, are you sure you want to do like 300,000 words of audiobooks in
Yeah.
the next 8
Oh,
weeks?
yikes.
And he's crushed it. We've wrapped one, or almost wrapping one, and just started the other. So yeah,
And I'll be
thanks for making us look good, Hunter.
of course. And I'll be totally honest, and we're gonna talk about this. You may get into VO thinking you're gonna do one thing and then
Oh
just
yeah.
start to absolutely crush in something entirely different. Um, because I thought I would never do audiobooks, and then I got these 2 auditions from Tim, and I booked both of them. Did not expect that,
Yep.
but here we are. So,
For you.
Yeah. Never thought I'd be into audiobooks either in terms of the genre of it just existing. And I did one and was not for me. And then accidentally started a production company by saying no thank you to a client.
and man is absolutely crushing. So, let's dive in. What is VO? Why are you asking this question? Did you not know what this stream was about? You are making me very sad. What are you here? But actually, let's get something out of the way. Becoming a voice actor in 2025, especially in the era of AI, is very hard, but it is not impossible. I think the 3 of us, are very good examples of like we come from very different backgrounds. We are not by any means the biggest working pros out there, but we are working pros. And I think I say this, I'm sure Kayla and Tim also feel like this. There's a ton of opportunity even with AI. I mean, like, correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. Kayla, do you want to go first?
Um, I mean, AI it's a thing that it's here. It's not going anywhere. So it's something that we're having to navigate and adapt with. But I think there's enough people in the world that still want that human interaction and connection. So I don't feel like it's just gonna overnight destroy the entire industry. And I don't think it ever will, to be honest. You're always gonna have your clients that, want to cheap out and use AI to save some money. But yeah, I personally, I have not been replaced by AI yet. Um, do I think it'll happen? Probably, especially with smaller paying clients or, people trying to cut costs. But so far, I have been sent a couple of AI demo files. People sent me things and be like, "This is our scratch track. Please use this for
Yeah.
reference."
I
So I have seen that.
That's happening a lot. Tim, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've been involved with AI and voice for a while now. I created a model of my voice like 5 years ago with Vocal ID when Dr. Rupal Patel was running the company, and she was doing it from a really ethical standpoint. For me, it was like, oh, they're making voices for people with disabilities that may lose their voice or never had the ability to speak. And so then loved ones or friends and family can come in and create a voice. And I was thinking of it from the how do I future proof myself? I've heard that this is happening. I need to be kind of around it and curious about it and involved, so that I can future proof myself and help friends whenever that time is. I now have a model with Ethovox, which is, if anybody plays a lot of video games, Sissy Jones's company. She's a very prominent video game voice actor. Uh, and yeah, I mean, I've seen it from clients. I have one client that has replaced me with AI, but I'm also actively working on ironing out a contract with them to license my AI model that I made ethically with Ethovox. I'm also like actively figuring out how I can market that model and take some of the work back that is that lower hanging fruit in VO that is being kind of swept up with AI right now, and open the door to better AI by real voice actors, so that that money kind of comes back into our community instead of randos. But I agree with Kayla's point, Edbur. I don't think it's ever going to fully replace us, but it is forcing people to adjust and kind of pivot in their business models and really look at the whole industry instead of just whatever. I mean, a lot of people look at the whole industry, but if you are somebody who is really niched into one specific genre, it is time to branch out. And I've actually seen a lot of friends who have said no to audiobooks in the past when I reach out, which I always support, always encourage if it's not your bag. Recently start to say, actually, I think I'd like to do this, and book booked several titles with us, Hunter being one of those. Not saying that Hunter was one of the people that was just chilling in one single genre, because he very
Yeah.
much was not.
Well, and I mean, as some of you know who follow me on TikTok, you'll know that I got replaced by AI directly from 11 Labs as the voice of a network. But to kind of echo everyone's points, AI is something that people are using when budgets are getting slashed. AI is for lower priced clients, or they're just trying to make budgets work, or everyone's trying to make a buck
They're
right
just
now.
curious about it. Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean,
There's a lot
yeah.
of clients that have come to me because they're like, "Hey, we tried using AI, but it sounds like shit. Can we work with you?" Like they are curious, but then they realize like, "Oh, I'm not able to get exactly what I want," if that makes sense.
That, and they're also losing the human connection. Like they don't have somebody on the other end to communicate with. Like they input a couple things in a box and that's it. They don't have, an end client. There's no one on the other side of that. So a lot of people are really missing that human connection. And I think that's so important in creative spaces.
Well, and also AI doesn't sell to AI. AI sells to humans. So like, yes,
Mhm.
people will always chase a buck, but like there was something that I saw earlier today, and I promise we'll move on after this. Um, AI is at the level of a human, but it, as of right now, has not surpassed. Now that could potentially happen, but yet it is only outputting what it knows. It's not able to. It can generate, but it can't create. There's like a very solid difference between that. So if you want something that parrots, sure, fine. But if you want something that connects, that has that human element, that has that high touch, that's where you go human. So if you want to truly succeed in the VO industry, especially in the era of AI, focus on three things. If you have no experience in VO, training and coaching first. So many people go out and buy gear, or they think they can just make a demo immediately. No, do not do that. Like genuinely, it is lead with training and coaching. Second is what I would say is practice your listening. And what I say by that is be aware of what everyone else is putting out right now. Who is booking what? You know, listen. If you're playing video games, don't just play for the sake of playing. Play to listen, especially if you want to work in video games. If you want to work in commercials, listen to who's booking those commercials. What is the sound? what is fairly common, and have a professional calling card demo when your coach says you're ready, which goes back to point 1. Guys, did I miss anything?
I don't think
I think
so.
you pretty much nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I recommend a typical roadmap for folks. And I'd also say be wary of not all demo production people, but just do your homework and do your research, because some coaches will just kind of keep you in the training loop just to keep their income coming in.
Totally.
There's not many. Thankfully, this industry is full of really lovely people who are wildly generous and straightforward and want people to succeed. But there are also some, bad eggs that will do the other thing.
And at the end,
on the flip side of that,
yeah.
no, you're good. On the flip side of that, also be wary of someone who tells you that you can make a demo in every genre after 4 coaching sessions.
Oh my God, yes.
yeah.
No,
That too.
you will not be ready.
Cut your teeth auditioning, cut your teeth building your business, and get those reps in, because that's where you really learn. And like Hunter said, listen, watch, consume all the content that you want to be doing.
Exactly. So,
and create it.
Yeah.
Too, not just consuming. Create your own shit.
Genuinely, there's so much opportunity to create. So, why you should listen to us? Because we said so. We're just working pros. Like that's it. And so I want to quickly, just for the sake of, they're really fucking cool, and I'm really proud of my friends. So this is something that Kayla just did for Nat Geo. You may have seen it. You may have heard it.
For the curiosity that compels us to look closer, dig deeper, reach further. For the passion to explore, to see, to know.
Kayla, can you hear?
That drives us to nurture connections, deepen empathy, and expand horizons.
Chat, can you
For
hear?
the joy of discovery right now, and all the endless potential of what comes next. This is what we strive for. Since 1888, the National Geographic Society has championed generations of explorers to ask questions, share stories, and open minds. And today, our mission is more urgent, dynamic, and vital than ever. Because in our hearts, we believe protecting the vibrancy of our world isn't just possible, it's essential. And we believe there's always another wonder for us to go and find. Will you join us? National Geographic Society. Wonder awaits.
Genuinely, when I heard
So
that,
good.
that is one of the best reads I have ever heard. Like,
Aw,
dude,
you.
genuinely, that is like peak fucking storytelling.
It's really, really freaking good, Kayla.
This one really resonated with me, and I was very proud of. And yeah, they always say in our industry, or I always say, I don't know if everybody says this, but you can have a goal, but that goalpost will always move. But this was one that really made me feel good about what I do, and made me feel like I'm doing something right. So I was really proud of this one. But I also just love their message too. So I grew up a Nat Geo kid. So
I mean, same.
Yeah.
I had all the magazines. I love, like,
yeah.
genuinely, like, peak. For those of you just joining, my name's Hunter. I'm a voice actor. Blah, 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 blah. My friend Tim and my friend Kayla are on. We're teaching about voiceover because fun. Be a voiceover.
Yay.
Be fun. Now it's Tim's turn. Tim has a commercial out that you've probably seen.
Oh boy.
Hot boy.
Nights at the Sapphire Lounge on
That's
the
not
set.
Tim.
Heaven.
Experience the world as an insider. From exclusive lounges to immersive dining experiences, all with Chase Sapphire Reserve.
See a movie trailer.
Like,
I saw somebody throw up milk.
dude, that what?
Whatever this movie trailer is.
Dude,
That sounds like a fun fact a kid would say. It's like, hey, Jason, how are you today? I saw someone throw up milk.
So that's Tim's spot that's running right
Similar
now for
voice
Chase
I
Sapphire.
use for Chase. Yeah.
That was really sweet, actually. Tim, do you want to say something about that spot? Because that was just like a really clean, like, what was the
Thanks.
do you remember the direction on that spot?
I don't. But I had right before I booked that campaign, I had booked a campaign for Blue Moon that was a totally like kicked back, like Blue Moon, it's made brighter, like just kind of a glottal fry sitting in the back of my throat a little bit. So I tried to think of like, all right, what's that kicked back version, but a little bit more luxurious. I know that the word luxurious was in there.
Yep.
And so I just tried to be like, pretend I was driving a car I can't afford yet and going all the places I want to go. But yeah, it's been a fun campaign. It's popped up a lot. It started last year during the Olympics. It plays during F1, which I love.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there's an F1 version of the spot. But yeah, it's a really wonderful thing. It was my first, I think, really major SAG-AFTRA commercial campaign that with residuals and everything. So I'm very excited about it, proud of it, and excited for whatever's next.
Dude, hell yeah. Moving on, my nonsense. This is part of my Arm & Hammer campaign that's running right now.
I rule this house. Plant-based litter? Seriously?
New Arm & Hammer Plant Power Litter. A highly absorbent grain formula that quickly clumps for powerful odor control.
Litter fit for your majesty.
Arm & Hammer Plant Power Litter.
So I give that as an option that commercials aren't just booking you, that sound. They're also booking characters. And so what Tim was saying, we both auditioned for the same spot, but we had entirely different directions that we went in that. Do you remember what you did, Tim?
I think all I remember is that I didn't think about doing an accent with it. And I think that was a pure Hunter move. I liked it.
I don't know why, but like whenever I default to character, I always default stuffy British.
Yes.
But
it's a great default to have, and it gives a really great different point of view and perspective on anything.
And yeah, so anyway, so moving through here. Quick things. Voiceover isn't just impressions. It's not just character voices. It's not just about sounding good. Notice in the examples that I gave from Tim and Kayla, it was about storytelling. If you can do a sound-alike, though, that's great. If you have a roster of bang-on impressions. But just because I know a lot of people have said, like, oh, I can do these great characters, and people have reached out to me in the past. Know the difference between an impression and a sound-alike. Can you just do a line as the character? That's an impression. Or if you can talk for hours in that character's voice, that's a sound-alike. Other thing, just getting this out of the way first, don't sell yourself short just to get a job. Don't undercut others. This is an industry that is super small. Everyone knows each other once you get to a certain level, and people talk. So it's more of like, hold yourself to a standard that other people will also hold you to. Because if you ask for help, people will give it. Like, this is a very giving industry, which is really, really cool.
100%.
Yeah. Guys, you want to jump in?
Only thing I'd add to that is also be discerning with where you spend your time for free.
Yes.
And what you spend your time on, like whose projects you're taking on. And like, I limit it pretty much to kind of like my friends, unless there's a project that comes across my desk that's like kind of a wild, interesting, like could be a really cool blow it up kind of thing. And it's also not that heavy of a lift that it takes away from the stuff that's paying the bills. Then I say yes, but it is your business. So you can say yes to whatever you want to for free. But when it comes to broadcast work, like the actual like meat and potatoes of stuff, yeah, use the GVAA rate guide and ask questions. Everybody's super generous with their time.
Totally. Kayla, did you have anything else to add?
No, I absolutely agree. I feel like, like you said, be careful, your time is so important. So if you're spending time doing a bunch of free stuff to add to your resume, you're not making the money back. So, while we like to do passion projects, and there are a few that I've had come through that I've really loved, we also don't want to undercut the industry, and
exactly,
we want to get paid, right?
Exactly.
This is a career.
Yeah.
Everyone,
make that bread.
Everyone's got to eat, but also at the same time, the second that you start undercutting someone, it's just a race to the bottom. So, let's begin. Let's talk rep. I heard this a while ago from another coach, and I love it so much because I feel like a lot of people, whenever they're talking about voiceover, it's always like, oh, well, who are you talking to? It's like, it's a very reductive answer. Instead, let's break it down. Relationship, emotion, perspective. Relationship, what is your relationship to the product, the person you're talking about, the place, etc.? A lot of people who are saying this is the relation of who are you talking to? Who are you talking about? Ground yourself in reality with your characters, your reads, your relationships. So if you're doing a commercial, for example, that will always be who are you talking to about this thing? Who are you narrating? What is your essentially relationship in this 15, 30 second, 60 second, right? For example, Kayla's relationship in the Nat Geo thing, or in the Nat Geo spot. Kayla, what would you say your relationship to that narrative was? Because obviously, if you're a Nat Geo kid, I feel like you have a leg up on everyone.
Yeah, I mean, growing up with it and just being constantly, I mean, even into my adult life, I love to go into nature. I love to go to aquariums. I love, earthly things. Like I don't know. I just it's that one. The connection was just so simple for that one, and just that phrase alone, "Wonder awaits." That honestly, that was the pull for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's some
And
good writing too.
That's
Good writing.
yeah, absolutely. And on that note, sometimes you get things that don't have very good writing, and you have to really try to find your connection points. Fortunately for this one, the writing was phenomenal, and the whole team was. So, yeah.
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 And I feel like a lot of people, like, especially in animation, obviously, or animation or video games, sometimes you will get backstory. You will understand, kind of a baseline, like who, what, when, where, why. But in commercial in particular, it will be very vague. It will be very, this is a guy next door. This is your best friend. This is, a voice of authority. Or the one that I always hate is just, casual conversational. It's just like a 2 or 3 words. So it's not about you, kind of going over the top. It's you being you. Because at the end of the day, buyers, producers, casting directors, they don't know what they want until they hear it. And if you're bringing yourself, it's not saying that you did anything wrong if you don't book it. You just brought yourself and they were just looking for something different, but they don't know it until they hear it. So, there's that. Emotion. What emotion are you feeling in this moment? What do you want the other character or the other person that you're building in the scene to feel with you? For commercial, what does the audience feel during the spot? What do you want them to feel? What is, essentially the result? The spot that I think of, there's a classic spot. It's called God Created a Farmer. If any of you have seen that, have you guys, Tim or Kayla, have you guys seen?
I feel like you probably have.
Yeah.
What is it for?
It was, oh my God, hold on. God Created.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, do it. I think it was, well, it was originally a poem, but I think Ram used it in a spot. But the storytelling, the emotion of God Created a Farmer is.
So God made a farmer.
Yeah. It is this very like pensive, kind of like groundswell emotion of a spot. Like it really hits home. But then on top of that, I think a lot about oh my gosh, there was a commercial campaign that was in the Super Bowl in 2021. I want to say it was the Huggies spot, where it was like tracking the live birth of how many babies were being born during the Super Bowl. Do you guys remember this one?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And
Welcome to the world, baby.
That's
called.
That's exactly the spot. That's exactly the spot. And how the copy was written was there was such reverence for the beauty of a being coming into this world that you can't help but tear up. It's one of those spots where it's like the writing kind of guides you, but how you fill in your specific emotion is your perspective on it? You know, how I would do that spot is probably entirely different than how Tim would, and entirely different than Kayla would. That emotion is what you bring to the field, what you bring to your reads. Perspective. What is your personal perspective on this brand, product, this moment, etc.? What can you bring in from your personal life to better ground your own performance as well as the scene in front of you? So some of you saw this, but the voice and the perspective of that cat in the Arm & Hammer spot, as strange as it sounds, is just the voice that I did from Honkai Star Rail for Lord Nias. But it was simply more regal, refined, and having more of a desire of luxury. So my perspective was, this is going to sound fucking insane, so my apologies.
I can't wait.
My perspective was,
I have battled many things, and I can finally rest. But there is a strange thing in my house.
that is literally it. It is literally just Lord Nias as a cat. And this reborn Spartan warrior can finally rest, but there's something strange in my house. That's it. That's the whole perspective shift on that character, and that's where the voice
stinky litter box.
My stinky litter box.
But here's the thing. That is my perspective. And also that character like is one of my default characters that I swap to, but there will be just like slight changes here and there. So we'll talk about characters in a bit. But your personal experiences, when you bring those in, how that informs your reads puts you in such a different, level than anyone who's just like, I'm just going to try and sound real good. Because when you just try to sound real good, no one is really going to care. Guys, if you want to jump in on any of those points, please feel free to, because I also just don't want to fucking ramble.
Yeah. For commercials specifically, so I think I have two things, and I forgot the first, so we'll see if it comes back around in my brain tornado. But the first thing I'd love to touch on is like, for point of view when you're talking about specifically in commercials, there's a trick that I use that I think my first coach, Richard Horvitz, taught me. And you have three main types of commercials. This is not gospel. This is not hard and fast, but it really helps when I feel stuck or I feel tired and I'm like, I don't want to do this audition. First one is our product versus their product. Second is we have a solution to your problem. And third is we're the best and we know it. And so when I get stuck in something, I'll try it. I'll pick one of those ways. It may not be the right way, but at the very least, what it does is gives me a really clear and strong point of view on what I am saying. And it just adds a filter through which I can pass that copy. And that is a really, really helpful thing. So again, we're the best and we know it. We have a solution to your problem, our product versus their product. That always helps. And sometimes it can help too in other genres too. But it looks like the first thing that I was going to say has not come back around.
Well, then maybe
so
then maybe Kayla jumps in and then you think about it later.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, speaking on the perspective aspect, anything that you can draw on from your past experience, even if it's not exactly what is going on in that spot, is if it draws on the emotion that is needed for that. I mean, just even going back to the huggy spot, I have a child, and so that is life experience that I can use to pull that emotion out. And this is like a small segue, and I won't dwell on it too long. But I, within the past year, started delving more into. I discovered that my brain doesn't work like a lot of other people's brains, and I have something called aphantasia. So I can't visualize things in my head, and so I have to draw on emotion. For everything that I do, whether it be a commercial, it be a game, whatever, I have to draw on strictly emotion. And it's been a really hard challenge for me as an actor. But it's really, I'm so glad that you have the relationship emotion perspective, because this is how my brain works. because you think about somebody tells you to envision where you stand, if you're doing a video game character and you're you're in commanding an army or something. I can't see that in my head. I can't. Even though I know what thing physically looks or feels like, I cannot make it in my, like, I can close my eyes and it just looks like white noise. So as an actor, these relationship emotion perspective, that is how I have to approach absolutely everything.
Dude,
so
I had
feel
no
like this is
idea.
really good groundwork.
Thank
Me
you.
neither. That's amazing,
I had,
Kayla.
yeah, dude,
Fuck
I
yeah.
had no idea that you were dealing with that. I mean, first off, like, huge power to you to actually understand that, but also, like, dude, whoa, I did not know that about you.
Yeah. I found out about a year ago, I think. An article, I was randomly, like, I don't know, Google popped it up for me or something, and I was like, oh my God, like, I guess I never realized that other people could see things that I can't. And it's almost like the conversation of, people have inner voices. I
Mm-hmm.
do have an inner voice, and it's my own. Some people have no inner voice at all, and some people have inner voices that are not themselves. So kind of the same aspect, but visual. Some people can see things, they can create all kinds of visuals. And what's funny is, on occasion, not all the time, but I do dream pretty vividly. But when I'm here absolutely conscious, I can't create things. Even things, that I know like the back of my hand, I can't see them in my head. So uh it's an interesting time as an actor. But
That's
yeah, no,
wild.
Dude,
these
that's
points,
insane.
crazy, right?
That's insane.
I
Yeah.
could give a whole presentation on it, but yeah, I won't go too much further into that. But the fact that you've laid all three of these out so clearly, I think that this is really good groundwork for people who do or don't. I hate to say suffer from that, because I like to think that it suffers from me.
Yeah.
But it's an
Yeah.
obstacle,
Those are navigate that.
Navigate,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yes, that is a more positive word, and I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hunter, I remembered the brain tornado thing.
Hit me with the brain
Kayla, you helped
tornado.
me remember.
We passed the brain cell back.
All I needed was the word actor, and that unlocked it. For anybody who's on chat here who has not taken an improv class or an acting class,
Yes.
that is something. I went to acting school, and I grew up and started out in improvisation as like my core foundation of acting training, and it's helped in a lot of different situations through life and work and career and everything. But if you haven't done that, it's such a great place to start, because it is acting, and it will provide the foundation and different formulas for you of how to find that physicality, or I'm looking at physicality. Oh my God, the emotion and everything that we just spoke on with rep. And it'll also help you find creative ways to, figure out how your brain works, like what Kayla was talking about, and different ways to navigate all of the stuff that's happening in your head, whether it's tornadoes or white noise.
Genuinely, I tell everyone, because I come from short form improv. I went to a school, like a high school, that didn't have a football team. We had a competitive improv team, and I recognize how stupid that sounds.
That's you nerd.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I went to improv because I couldn't because I had no friends.
and
I'm the nerd here too.
And I was the voice of the improv team, because they're like, you're kind of slow on stage, but man, do you have a nice sounding voice for a 15-year-old. Also gonna hit this absolute crisp. Oh yeah. Anyway, but
what was that? Was that a Twitch exclusive that we can't hear on Discord?
No, that was me cracking a can of Polar. And Polar, if you're watching this, please.
I thought you were ripping
What flavor?
ass on Twitch.
No, my God, what the
Well, I
fuck?
hit this crisp.
No.
What flavor?
Strawberry watermelon. Because
strawberry melon.
Strawberry melon.
I just bought the pink apple lemon.
I'm out of that shit.
So...
Oh my God.
It's so good.
Okay. Also, I'm one of those insane people that like the coconut seltzers. I like
those too.
I like coconut. Anyway, so moving on. Improv, do that. Define your voice. And the reason why I bring this up is I'm very much someone that I mean, honestly, Tim and Kayla both know this. Also, all of you know this if you have watched my content at all. I'm a very physical person. And also, like, I kind of define the voice with physicality. But I wanted to just touch upon this where it's never just the voice. The voice is an extension of the character of the self, so on and so forth, where a voice is informed by someone's past, a life lived. When you define a character's wants, needs, deepest desires, fears, the voice comes out of that naturally. And so in commercial reads, defining a simple want, what do you want to accomplish in 30 seconds, right? Do you want them to buy a car? Do you want them to sign up for a credit card? Do you want them to have a better quality of life? Do you want them to be informed about something that you think is really cool? Simple wants, simple truths make direction so much easier because at the end of the day, you don't have someone else in your booth directing you. You have to be your director. Yeah. On top of that, physicality. How does your character hold themselves? Where do they lead from? For commercials, it can just be a smile. It can be a simple wink. It can be maybe a lean in into the microphone to get more intimate. There's this idea of intimacy where your physical position of how close you are on the microphone informs your read. Because think about it this way. If the microphone is someone... I just totally muted myself like a fucking dumbass. If the
I thought my internet crashed, and I was like, "Come on, no."
No, I'm just very stupid. If the microphone is someone's ear, right, and it's a very sweet, sentimental spot, more than likely you're going to be physically closer to that person, talking to them about something that's sweet and sentimental. But more than anything, physicality is also not just how do you hold yourself, but it's also like how do you physically ground yourself in the space of the spot. Before I touch on history, guys, anything, never just the voice, physicality, anything there that you want to add on to?
Just to say that in animation, if you're not using your body, if you're not sweating afterwards, you're not doing it right.
Oh my God, for real. Yeah. Same with video game.
I'm not to make it blanket. I hate blanket statements. Like, if you're not doing this,
if you're not doing it, the old man yells at cloud.
It really is like animation. You can hear when people are using their body or not. And it doesn't matter if you're in a 3x3 closet in New York City, or if you are in, if you're at LA studios, you got to be using your body a little bit, even if you're doing little T-Rex arms.
Dude, genuinely, the last video game session that I did was 4 hours long. I was at the gym right before and I weighed myself. And then I was curious afterwards because I was like dripping in sweat. Like it was one of the most like intense sessions, honestly, of my career. It was like definitely up there. And I was like, I wonder how much I weigh. I went back to the gym and I weighed myself. I lost 1.5 pounds. First off, the AC was not working.
You're like an F1 driver.
Dude,
just write it. You're there.
I'd like George. But it is a very physical activity, especially if you're doing any sort of like yelling, screaming efforts. Like it's your core, it's your body. Like you are in that shit.
Clenching them cheeks.
Yeah. Okay. Kayla, do you want to jump in?
No, you're exactly right. And while we have physical, we have to stay on mic too, and so it's even more of a challenge to be a voice actor than sometimes being an on-camera actor or
real.
Yeah. I mean, we have to learn how to take a hit from a bullet without moving from the mic. So it's challenging.
Die technically.
Yeah. Yes.
Technical death.
100%. Yes.
Yeah, God, seriously. Well, and especially because like some, especially if you're doing anything that involves facial capture or anything that may have like another component. So like say that you're on camera, like there is a video game that I'm working on right now where I am being watched by at least 15 different people across the world on this game. And they're not watching me because they're like, oh, what is he doing? But no, they're watching my performance that they can better take that video and then give it to the rest of the staff, which was wild to me of not even like considering. I was like, oh, we're just like, on Zoom. It's like, no, we want to see like how you hold yourself so that they can use that as inspiration. I didn't even consider that, but that physicality is super common in animation and games. So they won't directly copy your likeness, but they will copy your physicality. So history. If you're performing a character and you have limited direction, create your own history. Where were they before this moment? Where are they going after this moment? What are they going to do? When you just define, if you're going to do anything, just define a who, what, when, where, why, and how, you're going to be there 90% of the time. And then the rest of it is up to your own creativity. Anything else that I'm missing here, guys?
Not that I can think of. I think we carry on.
We
unless
carry.
Kayla has something to say.
Unless Kayla has anything to say.
Mrs. Kayla, sorry.
Thank you.
Yes.
No, I think we've covered that. Yeah, I think we can move on.
Wonderful, because it's character time. I love building characters around people that I know or that are like people in my life, because there's the saying, reality is stranger than fiction. And it really is. There's some really fucking weird people out there.
Fiction's got to be based off of something, right? You take
Yes.
something you know and expand on it.
Yes. And that's why I say, like, what are the characters that you use in your everyday? What voices or personas are always around you? Like, I'm going to bring up such an insane poll, but bear with me. My first piano teacher was this tiny little lady who I was fucking terrified of, even though I was like taller than her, but I was terrified of her. Her name was Mrs. Pachenko. And she said, you Hunter, you have to do your theory all the time. I did not understand where she was from. I could not place her accent. It was just vague Eastern European. All I knew was she escaped before the Soviet Union fell. That's all I knew. But this tiny little lady of Hunter, you need to practice your theory. I don't know her accent, but I just know her persona. I know how she carried herself. And I knew that she was a god at piano. So that persona, Mrs. Pachenko, has always just been in the back of my head of like, oh, she will come out in something. And God rest her soul. I hope she's not haunting me because I have not been practicing my theory. Anyway, my theory. Who in your life are you also most comfortable around to use these voices with, such that they'd be well received, liked, etc.? Because there are those voices that we do get self-conscious about because we're testing them out. It can be, at least for me, and guys, feel free to jump in here, especially with character, there are just some voices where it's like, I'm just going to leave this one for the car, not because it's like potentially bad or anything like that, but it's just me messing around with my own voice. And I'm just not confident in it.
I see a really excellent question from Sci-Fi Ask Me, not Sci-Fi Apple, in the chat here.
Yeah.
Saying that, do you think it's fine to base your voices from pre-existing characters? I don't know many people. Yes, I think it's actually a really wonderful tool. And that's kind of that's how I started singing, how I started doing impressions when I was a little kid, and I didn't know I was doing impressions. I was just making people laugh because I could do Jim Carrey's voice or Mike Myers' voice, or their characters. But that's a really a podcast that helped me a lot with acting for animation was actually Talkin' Tunes. It's Rob Paulson's old podcast.
Yes.
If you don't know Rob Paulson, he is Yakko from Animaniacs. He is Carl Weezer, Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. He's everything. So, but what he said is that even a bad impression is just another character voice. And so that kind of gave me permission, the permission I didn't need but needed, was to just like start playing. And so now if there is an animation spot, or if there's a, something that comes through commercially that's like, we really like a John Hamm type sound, I do a John Hamm type sound, and it sounds almost like him, but it's it's not enough to be him, but it works for those kinds of spots. So I think, to answer that question, short answer is super long here, is yes, do it and play and catalog it. And then another exercise that's really great is writing down the list of characters or voices that you've created, and then write down another list next to it of adjectives that are like tall, short, tired, sweaty, cold, whatever it may be, because then you can start combining different things. Like, what is I did this exercise, and some reason Yao Ming came into my head.
What?
And yeah, no, and I didn't know what the exercise was. I was like, I'm not trying to do Yao Ming's voice. He was just like, my teacher was like, write down a list of, people or sports figures or people like that are iconic to you. And I was like, wow, I haven't thought about Yao Ming since I was 12 years old, but there he is. And then the exercise was, what does a short, cold Yao Ming sound like? Now, I did not do Yao Ming's accent, but it is, it's a good exercise to play around with mixing and matching and finding all those fun random characters that you may not know exist yet.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's
and you
fascinating.
can play around with, give them a lisp, give them it's
Yeah.
stutter, give them. You can play so many things just by I don't do impressions,
Mhm.
so I can attempt an impression that might become a new character for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then like you said, you just kind of add little attributes to them, or what if they're 10 years older? So many different things that
Yeah.
you can play with there.
There
And
is
then the longer you do it, the quicker recall you get of just like,
Mhm.
okay, well, that's weird. I didn't expect a short, cold Yao Ming to be the right character for this Nickelodeon audition, but it turns out it is.
But at the same time, though, that's so genius because it's literally just alchemy of like things that you already know or attributes that you already know, and you just make something new out of it. Again, why AI sucks, because AI can't do that. Humans can do that. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Hiccup. Great question. We will get to questions at the end, and I will make sure to go back to that.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I just caught that
No,
one. I was like,
no. That one's like absolutely apt. I really like that one. Additionally, I want to make sure of like define the people in your life that you can talk to about specific things. And also define of like when you have conversations with them about that, how close or how far away are they when you talk to them? How does it sound when you're super intimate? How does it sound when you're potentially in the car together or you're at a concert or something like that, where when you play with that level of intimacy and also with different relationships, you're going to sound differently to how I talk to Kayla and Tim is entirely different than how I talk to my brother or how I talk to my mom, for example, or how I talk to my wife. Like, it is entirely different. It is a spectrum. And that's kind of the really cool thing about characters. So let's talk very briefly about auditions. Because auditions are the currency in this industry. Because auditions are what get you roles.
Also, the currency is the currency.
Also, the currency is the currency because we live in a hyper-capitalistic society. Someone fucking pay me already. Anyway, yapping. Kayla, I am absolutely clocking those emojis in chat. Thank you for that.
I mean, it's me. It's me. I just want to see if you were actually paying attention to the chat.
Yapping.
It's me.
Yapping. Yeah, the three of us are just absolutely yapping.
Drag us.
Anyway.
I mean, we kind of talk for a living, so
yeah. We do need to go to dinner soon and feed our families and ourselves, but
yeah,
we are yapping.
Yeah, no, truly. So audition. Your audition is not just practice for the sake of practice. Your audition, the mindset that I want you to take is you have already booked this job. You're there for a reason. You're not just saying like, oh, I'm going to try this new thing. Yes, you can try this new thing after you come in with I already have this job. I want you to come in with the mindset of, this is mine. I have this. Because if a client hears the slightest hint of uncertainty, so long as it's not written in there, if the character is supposed to be uncertain, go for it. Great. But if there's any sort of hesitation in your voice, they will pick up on that, and goodbye. Your audition will be deleted. At least that has been my experience. Guys, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I feel like here specifically, I changed my entire mindset when I walk into the booth and just as I go about my day-to-day life. And I have found this inner confidence that has opened so many doors for me. And it's not an ego thing, even in the slightest. It's just a confidence of knowing that I love what I do, and a confidence that I am good at what I do.
Yeah.
And I take that into every audition, and I know how to break down a script. I know how to find different emotions. Video games. I fucking love video games, dude. I've been playing them since I was 4. And so I go in and I carry that love and that passion to everything that I do, and you can tell.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that. I like
Yeah.
that a lot. Tim?
Yeah, the only thing that I'll add is I have a slightly different kind of approach to the audition being practice kind of thing. I think it's all in the similar vein. We all want to put our best foot forward, but the way I viewed auditions when I first started was as practice. And it was not just practice reading scripts and trying different genres, but it was practice being confident because you have to be. It was practice with my equipment because I had never really, I was in musical theater. I knew sound equipment during sound checks, and mics taped to my face, but it was not that same thing. So it's my mindset with it is all failing forward. If I didn't get that job, I'm learning something from it anyway. If I didn't, if I exported at a different sample rate and I sound like a chipmunk and I didn't realize it after I submitted, then at least I learned from it and I know I can grow.
Oh my
and
God, I've been
this business
there.
is so about the process of failing forward and growing and learning and iterating as fast as you can and figuring things out. But yeah, I think it is, for me, it is practice, but it is not a like haphazard, we're marking for tech rehearsal. Like it is, it's a, full out performance, but it is practice.
And what I'll also say is, I'll touch upon this a little later. This is a career. This is a process. You are not going to get this right immediately, and don't have the expectation that you will, because you're going to set yourself up for failure in the sense of, if your time horizon is too short and you don't get to where you want to go when you say like, oh, in a month I'm going to book an anime. Oh my God, don't do that to yourself. Like genuinely, you're setting yourself up for failure. Instead, allow it to be a process, exactly to what Tim is hinting at. And because I know for a fact I have done that before. I have sent in an audition where I absolutely botched my tech specs. And it happens. It totally happens. But in the audition, connect with yourself and the story on the page. Read the specs. I heard this years ago from I think it was Dave Walsh. The story between the story. There is the copy that's going to be in front of you, the words that are in front of you, the thing that you're performing. But there are also the area of subtext, the story behind it, that only comes where you fill in your own creativity and your own truth. Truth in this industry is the most powerful piece of currency from the standpoint of your truth. When the right person hears it, it is going to be worth its weight in gold. And so when you connect with yourself and the story on page, that's when you get some really great reads. Like some of my best and worst auditions have come from my own either connection properly, or to Tim's point, like I got on with the creative team for Arm & Hammer when they heard that spot, and they're like, yeah, we did not think this cat was going to be British. We were not thinking it was going to be British. In fact, there was nowhere in those specs that mentioned British RP sound at all. And yet, I came in with that. So it goes to show that your story, when the right people hear it in the right situation, will book. Now, read the damn specs. Oh my God. Like, don't just connect with it. Like, have an awareness of your specs. Guys, jump in here, please, because I know I can bring up examples from my own life and my own career, but I feel like it's very common for people to just say like, oh yeah, throw out the specs. And like, that's totally fine, but also read the specs.
I think it's important to read them. Yeah. My approach when I get an audition, I will copy for the specs, but just to get the words in my head. And generally speaking, my first thought of this copy that I have, I'm usually pretty intuitive of what they're going to be asking for based on how it's written. Sometimes not. Sometimes it's totally the opposite of how I probably would have read it. But maybe my initial take of it before reading the specs, maybe that's my take too. So I think, yes, it is important to read the specs because after somebody wrote this and they want you to read it the way they want to hear it. But I do like to read it first just to see what my interpretation of it would be, and then go back and read the specs. And again, you're going to get specs that are a page long and sometimes contradictory. And so it is up to you to kind of sort through that and figure out what we think we want.
I think, if I may, I think the three of us know the casting director that you're hinting at. There is a casting director that will send like it's so eloquently written, but it's like a page of direction.
I've also heard too that those are not necessarily all for us as the actors. Have you all heard that?
Yes, I have.
That's an important thing too. It's important to read it all, but it's also important to read between the lines.
Exactly.
And and I always do one that is my interpretation of the specs to what they wanted, and then usually I'll do a second one unless they say specifically to not, and I'll send that in as an alt take, just because it's what resonated with me. It's what I wanted. To your point, Hunter, the cat situation that happens more often than not. And it's a nice surprise for everybody involved because we all get to laugh a little bit and roll our eyes at how silly and fun our jobs are. But yeah, it's
yes. Yeah. Well, and no, you're absolutely correct. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on toes.
No.
There was an audition.
Oh, your toes are fine, George.
There was an audition earlier today that I got sent where the first take was like this very like sweet, kind of like quieter narration, and then the second take they wanted to hear like, because it was about something in the 1980s, and they wanted to hear like, whoa, bodacious, totally tubular version, which is like, what the fuck? But yet, like, I get why they did it. I get why they had those two directions, because it was talking about the 1980s. So sometimes it's figuring out the in-between, but then also, there will be the wild card take. And there are some auditions that you'll get where they're like, we only want one take. So then you have to decide what I would consider my best version of what comes through in those specs. Which go to my second point of casting directors, producers don't know what they want till they hear it. Some know exactly what they want, but 9 times out of 10, at least in my experience, and guys, feel free to chime in, they have an idea, but that's why they're casting. They want to find someone's embodiment of the copywriter's words.
Absolutely. And that's I mean that's a lot of why they're hiring professional voice actors. They want someone to tell their story.
Exactly. And that to me is like the cool part about this job, where it's like there is so much opportunity for so many people in this industry. because there are so many stories out there. Tim, do you want to jump in?
No, I don't really think I have anything to add to that.
Oh, he has nothing to add. Okay.
Well, then let's
For
talk. Let us talk story. No one has lived your story. No one has lived your life. No one will have your perspective on the word in front of you. And that's why voice acting is so hard and rewarding. We all sound different. And that's kind of the cool thing for all of you out there, because I've seen things in chat so far where it's like, I have a lisp, I have a speech impediment, I'm not confident. That's okay. You know, voice acting is not about sounding like you or sounding perfect in a way, right? That imperfection is what makes us human. And that's why voiceover is so fun, because no one is looking for you to be the perfect sound, right? There are those people that book a ton of movie trailers. Gabe Kunda, who is an incredible talent, literal once in a generation. His voice is made for movie trailers. But no one is saying that you have to be Gabe Kunda, or you have to be Don LaFontaine, or you have to be Maurice LaMarche. You can be you. You can sound like you, and you can still find opportunity. Guys?
I agree. I came into this kind of thinking animation was going to be everything I was doing, because I was coming from a theater background and do a lot of voices and singing and all of that kind of stuff. But very quickly learned that that is not it. And so it took a little bit of time to kind of fall into that conversational read and strip some of that away, but it's worth it. But it is, you bring all of yourself to this and all the little bits and pieces of whoever else you want to bring along for the journey.
Mm-hmm.
I like Lucci's question, actually, and I do want to answer it because I'm clocking it of, have you ever gotten a role that was specifically made for you? And I turn this question to both of you first of, has a producer, casting director, anyone come to you both directly because they heard you in something else? Or they worked with you in something else because they had something different?
That's a great question. I wouldn't say necessarily they heard maybe my other work. But I mean, I get repeat clients who will come to me with different types of projects because, they maybe we had a session and we went through a wide range and they were like, oh, we could use that on something else. So it does happen. And I'm sure there are people who do get booked because of other work, especially when you get into, animation and video games and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Tim?
I've booked work, I've booked work tangentially, I think, through like sharing content, posting other work I've done. I've gotten direct bookings that way through like LinkedIn and Instagram and stuff like that. I think the closest to that question is I am in this show that's on BBC called Adventures of Mansoor, Age of AI, and it was with I think initially it started with Cartoon Network Saudi Arabia, and then moved to a company called Badaya Media. But I play the primary antagonist in that, which is an evil AI named Mr. Blink. And after the first season of that show, of doing that original dub of that show, they actually ended up writing in a lot more of that character because of all the weird shit that I did. And so that, I think, is the closest that I've experienced to that.
But I still think that's really cool. Like the fact that the actual writers, because you embodied the character so well, they gave you more screen time. That absolutely, I think that counts for sure, dude.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll take it. And that studio hired me for a lot of other animation work, just as a utility player, as leads and all of that. It's always that was an instance of saying yes to a lot of different things that led to that.
I will give this example because it kind of harkens back to this shit takes time. In 2022, December of 2022, I auditioned to be Nicol Bolas in Smite when Smite did the crossover with Magic the Gathering. I booked it with a wonderful casting director named Phil Bach. And he is a hard ass. Phil is like very much kind of old school, but we just clicked. He casts a lot of stuff in LA, and he then Smite moved to a different studio, and he was working on Honkai Star Rail and Genshin, and he then exclusively went to Honkai. I should definitely have him on at some point in the future. I think that would be good. Because that man has cast and worked on so many games as a voice director, casting director. But because of the work that I did for Nicole, he started sending me just a bunch of stuff for Smite and like some utility stuff on a couple like paladins and some NPCs for Genshin and Honkai. And then I got asked, hey, can you come in for a 4-hour session for this NPC? It's pretty big. And that was Lord Nias. I did not audition for Lord Nias. Philip just put me in there because he knew I could do it. And that's the thing. This is a business that is built on relationships, and it's built on you putting yourself out there constantly and consistently. We will talk potentially money later, because money is a very weird thing in the VO industry, especially when you start looking at non-union versus union, potentially FICOR as well. But it's also like you can have great years and great months, and then you can have totally shit years and total shit months. So we'll talk about that later. But
hey, Hunter,
yes.
Really quick. I just wanted to nudge you on time really quick, just because I have to jump off in about 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to be real quick here.
You also have a savage comment in the chat.
I am painfully ginger. Oh, yo, Hunter, check your texts. Oh, God, what did you do?
We were trying to be like, hey, man, just a heads up.
Oh, God. Whoops. My bad.
A little
My
bit,
bad.
because I gotta have dinner with my wife.
Okay.
Please.
So let's do this.
Go,
yeah. God, both of you. I swear to God. Thank you.
Tag team.
Thank you. Because I was not looking at my texts at all. Okay. So, I want to talk about how to build a career if I had to start over, but I would love to release my two wonderful people who need to go eat dinner with their beautiful families. If anyone has any questions for Tim and Kayla, and then I can continue to yap because I am all alone in my little screamy box. So yes. Who has questions for Tim and Kayla in particular? Or if you guys want to go through chat and scroll through and see any questions that you want to quickly answer, because I want to let you guys go. And God bless you both so much. I'm so sorry.
No, thank you for having us. This was super fun. And thank you, everybody, for listening to us contribute to the yappage.
Yappage.
Yappening.
The absolute
the great yappening. Yes.
Also, Hunter, you should turn your Discord camera on so we can take a
yes, we should.
Oh, yeah, we need to take a little
I need to do
family
that.
picture here.
I know. Hold on. Let me do
Somebody else do it, though, because I forgot how to screenshot on a Mac.
I can do it.
I can't
Shift Command 4.
I can't turn mine on because I'm using my camera feed.
Okay, when this ad for me ends for Stardew Valley, I'm gonna move you underneath
where
Kayla and I are situated on my Discord.
So that we can take a screenshot and I can just be like, yeah.
Perfect.
Let's see.
Also, Stardew Valley is a 10 out of 10 game.
Yeah.
I need to play Stardew Valley.
Can I plug something that's similar to Stardew Valley that I voice like 3 characters in?
Yes.
There's a new game out called Linked Banner of the Spark. It's Lynked. I'm a huge nerd for this game. I have voiced a couple of like maybe a handful and a half video games so far. And this is the game that I've logged the most hours on that I've been in. It is very fun. It's like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing meets Hades. It's really good music. It's really good like side scrolling, not side scrolling. It's a good dungeon crawler. Like it's world building. It's really, really like it feels really good on your brain. If you've got ADHD, you can do like chill mining and world building. Or you can go to some like sweet little combat sitch. Hunter, can you make your
favorited it last night.
picture?
Yeah.
I did. I favorited it on the PlayStation
If you played the game,
Store, so
I'm the main robot Buddy, who is the little blue guy.
Oh,
they
that's
wrote
you.
and created a whole new robot language. Like, they brought in a professional linguist and wrote this language called Botlish. And I play Buddy. I play the main bad guy, Aether Null, which, if you play
That's
through the game, you'll
amazing.
find out a very neat situation of the connection between him and Buddy. And I play another like Tony Stark type robot in there named Aether or Gust. Yeah. Hunter, can you make your picture-in-picture of you in your studio a little bit larger so I can drag you in and you can
Yes.
see?
Also, why did my hold on, my webcam source just decided to absolutely eat itself.
Yeah, it
You're
did.
like green and purple on Twitch.
What just happened?
It's
Bad
due
trip,
to
bad trip.
Technicolor update.
Yeah, no, seriously. What the
No, Tim, I'm gonna play your game after I finish Expedition 3 because I
Oh my
can't put that
gosh.
game down.
Okay. Hold on.
There.
Okay. Yeah, let's take selfie, please. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Did you?
It's
Did you
it's
make
bigger now.
yourself bigger,
I
George?
am
Oh yes, George.
I am
Beautiful,
bigger now, George.
Okay, everybody, smile. 3, 2, 1. Amazing.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Oh wait, hang on 1 sec. One more time because Hunter's delayed. His camera's delayed. Okay,
Oh, okay.
everybody.
Just hold very still.
Ready, Kayla, quick. Oh wait, Hunter, hold it. Hold it, Hunter. Kayla, ready? Kayla, ready? Here we go. Look at your camera.
Did you take it? Did you take it?
I think I got it. Okay. God, I don't know. Okay.
Figure it out.
All right. Y'all go eat
Yeah.
dinner. Thank you both so much for being here. I'm going to yap for the rest of this. I will talk to you both soon. Thank you both
Yeah,
so
sounds
much.
good. If anybody has questions, reach out to us on social media.
I'll make sure to plug.
We've said the world of voiceover is a very generous place, and we have had lots of kindness bestowed upon us, and it is our duty to pay it forward.
And I'll make sure to plug everyone's handles at the end. But Kayla, Tim, thank you guys for being here. Go eat dinner with your beautiful families. I'm so sorry for keeping you as long as I have.
Never apologize for hanging out too long.
Okay.
Adore you both.
Yeah, we
All right.
had a great time.
Yay.
Bye.
All right. Bye, guys. See you
Good
soon.
evening.
All right, children of chat. Boop. Children of chat. How to build a voiceover career if I had to start over. Because now Kayla and Tim are gone. They had to go eat dinner with their families. I, meanwhile, have had a Jersey Mike sandwich. And that was my dinner. Also, I'm going to make my freaking thing much smaller. Okay, cool. Woo! Slavery. Okay. No. Shush. Okay. How if I was to start over and I had all of the knowledge that I have now, but I had to start over. Step 1 is train. Get a 9-to-5 job that supports your livelihood. Seriously, I was so dumb when I quit my job to become a voice actor. That was dumb. I made less than minimum wage in my first year. So I'll just be totally transparent. 2016, I quit my job. 2017 was the first year that I was a voice actor. I made $9,000 in a year. Year after that, I made about 30,000. Year after that, I made about 50. And then from there, it slowly started to increase. And I will say, like, I earn a comfortable living. I am by no means like some of the top earners in voiceover are making 7 figures and they're not celebrities. They are insane. But yeah. So anyway, get a 9-to-5 job. Genuinely, you have something that supports your livelihood, supports you. Don't come from a place of desperations. I swear it will come out in your reads. I promise you that. Work with a new coach program or in a new genre every month. Like, start seeing what different things work for you. Find a coach whose perspectives you genuinely like. So I saw there was a question a while ago of like, where can we find great coaches? There are a handful. J. Michael Collins is incredible in commercial, explainer, corporate. He's also super well connected with everyone in the industry. If it's not him, he'll point you in the right direction. There's a handful that I absolutely adore that I work with constantly. There's Dave Walsh, who is genuinely one of the most incredible human beings to ever live. I see him like a second father in a lot of ways. Like, I call him dad. Man is absolutely such a guiding force for me. Really gets the truth in commercial. Incredible story, really great. So Dave Walsh, absolutely recommend. Let's see who else. Crispin Freeman. I think a lot of his resources are really awesome. Voice Acting Mastery. Joe Zija, even his program, I think there's a lot to gain. But here's the thing. A lot of coaches have different perspectives. Some people will say one thing, some people will say another. I think you should make your own informed decision. And look around, because what's going to work for some people is going to work for others. Skills Hub is amazing. Yes, I absolutely agree with Skills Hub. Dave Fenoy is an incredible coach on there as well. Very well known. Step 2 from training is practice. Get on a free freemium site, Upwork, Casting Call Club. Start honing your skills. Additionally, if you want to invest on one of the lower levels, lower tiers of a pay-to-play like Voice 123, I do not recommend voices.com. Their business practices I cannot in good conscience support. But a free freemium site, Upwork, Casting Call Club, where you can start to be paid small amounts of money. It's not going to pay all of your bills, but you can start cutting your teeth. Coaches in the Southern Hemisphere, that's a good question. There are a couple. I would say Skills Hub definitely has some coaches that are based in Latin America, but reach out to places like GVAA. Oops, I went too far on one. GVAA. Reach out to... trying to think of another one. VO Peeps. Actually, gonna plug this. NAVA, National Association of Voice Actors. It's a U.S. organization, but the amount of resources that NAVA has for voice actors all around the world is incredible. So I guarantee if you don't find it on NAVA, or if you don't find it reaching out to coaches directly, or if you can't find it, just with Googling, reach out to NAVA. The other thing that I would absolutely suggest is reach out to the VORG, Voiceover Resource Guide. It's a free guide of listings for different coaches and so on and so forth. But yes, go support NAVA. NAVA is incredible. In fact, later this month is the NAVA Day of Play, where we will have some of the biggest streamers in the world teaming up with major video game talent and streaming together. And I will be streaming on that day. It's on June 14th. And we have Ethan Nestor, who is going to be playing Metal Gear Solid with the cast of Metal Gear Solid. So that's going to be really cool. So, from practice, constantly start auditioning. Listen to your auditions and focus on 1 to 2 things every month to improve on. Keep working with coaches and consume as much content as possible to hear what is being booked. Notice what we were saying, what Tim, Kayla, and I were saying. We are aware of what's happening. We listen to our peers, what everyone else is working on, so on and so forth. Make sure to keep working with coaches, and genuinely, like, I always have a budget every month where I dedicate at least, $100, $200 to coaching with someone new or someone that I've worked with in the past, just to keep myself sharp. Step 3 is accelerate. I know I'm going to just move this real quick so that we can read it just a little bit better. Just a little bit. Once you've booked your first 1 to 2 projects, take your, and I'm going to say this, professionally produced demo and send them out to agents. In order, demos that you should get made: commercial, animation, video game, or swap those two, either or. And then from there, other ancillary genres. So explainer, corporate, political, radio imaging, promo trailer. Those demos are your calling cards. So if you don't have work, so like right now, I have plenty of commercial work that I could then have a voiceover demo recut with just my past work. That's what a demo really is. But if you don't have that, and you only have maybe 1 or 2 projects that you've booked so far, a demo is to show what you are capable of. So sign up for Voice123 or Bulldoggo, not voices.com, and have more auditions come through daily. Your goal is to be doing anywhere between 5 and 10 auditions a day. That's where you should be at. From there, as I said before, set aside a monthly amount of money to continue one-on-one or small group coaching, but also make sure that you're constantly saving for additional demos. Hold on. My mom is calling me. Hi, Mom. You're live on my stream. I'm streaming right now. Are you okay? Yeah, no, sorry. I'm streaming right now. I didn't answer you. I'll talk to you later, okay? Bye, Mom. Bye. She's like, I was wondering the same about you. Are you okay? It's like, I am working, Mother. I am an adult. Thank you. Anyway. So. Oh, I hung up. I'm sorry. My chat says hi. LOL. Sorry about that. I will call you after this, period. Okay. So now we have to get to the scary stuff. And that is, unfortunately, AI. And look, I'm not going to lie. This has been hard. It's been hard to deal with the very real threat that is AI, because I also made myself too little. Because I have been replaced. A lot of people that have been replaced, and it is a fear. AI is here. We can't. I'm saying we can't fight it in terms of it's a Pandora's box that's been opened, but yet it is something that I want to get maybe a little dark with, and I want to kind of end on a positive note. Things to remember. Buyers of voices, so casting directors, producers, they have a discerning taste. AI can match, but it can't surpass human quality. Humans also have a built-in AI filter. It's called the uncanny valley. What may be something that feels human, we can tell when something is AI. Now, I'm sure that will get better. Video in particular will get better. Voices will be able to match, but cannot surpass. So, that said, buyers that go AI are low budget or no budget clients. Fact of the matter. You don't want to work with them anyway. And what a lot of buyers are finding out is when they go AI, they're not able to get what they want, and they will have audience backlash. There's a really good example of a YouTube channel that I used to work with. I won't name their name. It's not SCP Explained. It's not Limonade or Memonade, but it is a YouTube channel that I did some voice work for. And they fired me, and they went AI. And this happened a long time ago, like a year ago, and I didn't really care. But recently, they came back because I dubbed all of their content. They were a Spanish channel, and I dubbed it into English. And surprise, surprise, the AI voice stopped working for them because their audience just was like, this is an AI voice. This sounds bad. So they came back to me, and I raised my prices, and they paid for it. So something I like to say, how long has the drum machine existed and how many artists still prefer live drummers? Exactly. That's exactly the right way to think about it. AI is a tool. AI by no means will replace human talent, but it will mean that good talent will get concentrated. Opportunities will also get concentrated. But glitchy is absolutely correct. Like, that's very apt. So there will still be immense opportunity. It's just going to look different. And that's just where we're going to be at. Realistic career, just because you got into this, as you heard from Tim and Kayla, just because you thought you were going to do one genre, it doesn't mean that you're going to immediately start booking in those. You know, it took me 6 years to book in video games, and I didn't get there. But when I finally did, 2023, it was 2 games. 2024, it was 4. 2025, it's June, and I'm up to 12 games already. So it always constantly, it builds upon it. So this is a career that takes time. Some people have some big wins right out of the gate. Really good example is the lead in Beastars. That was one of his first auditions. You're not going to be that. And that's okay. When you recognize that that is not you, it's okay. Be aware of what sounds brands are booking. Just genuinely be aware, because things will shift. The pendulum will swing in one direction. It may go one way. In one direction, it may go another. You will hear things constantly change, and that's okay. Like, when we understand that there is a constant change, that's it. So, on top of that, you will have hot streaks. You will have cold streaks. I've had months where I have made insane amounts of money. I have months where I'll do the exact same amount of auditions and I'll book like 4 projects. Doesn't mean that I haven't gotten any better or I haven't gotten, any worse. Just means that wasn't my month. Or, there is documented dead periods in the industry where summer, June, July, it gets slow. But yet, pendulums swing. That's why this is a career where you constantly need to be working. Unfortunately, no one is just going to be knocking at your door. You have to knock at that door. You have to go out and make the opportunities, which is why it's also really important to make your own content. So, we're at the end. Question time. Who has questions? What questions can I answer? AI can't do a quality meme comp. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. I agree with you. What questions can I answer? I mean, Civ 2, that's still a really good booking. Like, that's still really cool. What can I answer? Whoa. Actually, I should probably scroll back. My previous question about being ginger. Do you think I stand a chance? Yes. What? I had questions. Okay. What is your question? Please answer. Ask me the questions. What is your favorite role? God. I can't talk about it because the game hasn't come out yet. Sorry. Will this resource be up to view later? Yes. This entire VOD will be on both Twitch and YouTube. Watch it on YouTube, though, because that makes me more ad monies. Thanks. Thank you. That would be very cool. Give Hunter ad monies. Thanks. How can the wider creative team best work with voice actors to create good characters? That is a great question. Give them solid direction. Give them build the world for them. Don't get like too deep in the lore, but like give them enough to like really dig into. Just, kind of paint the picture better. Do you think joining your town's Chamber of Commerce is a good play? That's a great question. It can be. If you really want to work in commercial, for example, or if you're already doing explainer videos or something like that, can totally be a great option. There's also a lot of folk who market directly on LinkedIn or cold email. I would personally say it's up to you of how do you book right now? And then looking at that you know, just looking at those opportunities. But if you think like, oh, I am going to talk to my Chamber of Commerce about, finding video game companies in my town, it's like, that's probably not going to work. Right. So would you say starting VO work at some point younger age could help in the future for portfolios? Any age. There are people that have graduated college and they got started. There are people that graduated high school that got started. There are people that have retired from an entirely other industry and they just got started. Like there was someone that I knew that quit his job, Stetson Turner. Dude quit his job from Honda. He was there for like 10 or 20 years at Honda in like their research and development, I think. Incredible voice, incredible sound, and he just wanted to be an actor. And dude is crushing it. And he's like living basically a second life. Funniest experience you've had with VO? Oh, let me think about that. Would it be smart to create an alias off the bat or wait until you are established? It depends. That's a very interesting question. In terms of the alias, is it because you want to do things not in your own voice or not in your own name, or you want to do things that maybe you don't want to be tied to? Because I know there's a lot of folk that work in like not safe for work, adult entertainment that will have aliases. Specifically, a style of Japanese animation that starts with an H and ends with a tie. I know a lot of people will not use the real names for that. I'm torn due to the nature of my career. I would like my creative endeavors to remain separate. Oh, interesting. Okay, I see where you're coming from. I would personally say operate under an alias, under a stage name. Great example is that Ringo Starr was not born Ringo Starr. He was Ringo Starkey. Or it was like Richard Starkey, but he became Ringo Starr. Create that persona and see how it goes. I wouldn't go by like a specific, like, handle or like, caricature. So like, if Lucci, for example, hi Lucci, go to the mines, go back to the editing mines, Lucci. And yes, it's open question time. If you were like, hi, I'm Lucci, or like you're using your Discord name, I wouldn't do that. I would say instead, what would be a better stage name? Because SAG-AFTRA recognizes stage names as performer names. Obviously, there has to be a legal entity or a legal individual behind said stage name. But if that works for you, great. Yeah, absolutely do it. Yeah, no, we're definitely going to be doing monthly viewings of Headcount so that Hunter can get his inheritance back. Funniest experience you've had with VO? God, it's for a character that is not out yet. I want to talk about it, but I can't right now, unfortunately. Do you use Audacity? No, I use Adobe Audition. Some people use Audacity. Some people use Twisted Wave. Other people there's a ton of software. And that's kind of the cool thing, right? Where you can kind of choose your own adventure in a lot of ways. Do you know Christopher Robin Miller? No, I don't actually. How would you go about getting health and other insurances as a voice actor? Great question. If you're union, so like full blood union, SAG-AFTRA, and you work specific hours a year on SAG-AFTRA projects, you can qualify for insurance. Otherwise, if you are professionally hired as a voice actor with accredited studios and you're non-union, you can apply for health insurance through NAVA. NAVA has collective bargaining. One of the co-founders and president, Tim Friedlander, is on their health insurance policy. There is opportunity now for you to be able to apply for collective bargaining. So I highly suggest it. Let me keep going. If you could voice in an anime, what anime would you want to star in? Dude, I want to be in Ghost in the Shell. I want to be in Ghost in the Shell so fucking bad. Like, I love Ghost in the Shell or Lazarus. There was an anime that I was shortlisted for that I did not book. But they still may come back, so I'm not going to talk about it. But really big anime that's out right now. I got really, really, really close to a pretty big character, and I did not book it. But we'll see if they come back. I have still, to this day, I have not booked an anime, which bums me out. But let's see. There are a bunch of questions that can be asked about them, so I'll just lay out the topic. SAG-AFTRA. In what regards SAG-AFTRA? Because that is a very loaded, like, general topic of like, what is SAG-AFTRA? SAG-AFTRA is an acting union that covers performers in multiple different categories, from voice actors to on-camera news reporters are technically SAG-AFTRA. Sadly, my legal name is uncommon enough to be clockable, so I may want a name that's similar enough. Focus on similar enough. So, like, look at your initials and figure out, like, what could be an analog. Are you working on any more movies as a voice and physical actor? Not right now. I'm glad that you liked Headcount. I appreciate that. Professor Layton on the DS. Yeah, not helping. I need to look up the face, I guess. You should try and be in Arcane Season 3. That would be cool. Well, if I get sent the audition, we'll see. I haven't seen anything for that come through. Do you happen to know what Genshin NPCs you voiced? God, no. It would have been the patch that came out in maybe July or August of 2023, 2024, maybe. That's probably what would have been my team. Also, I'm going to put on some lo-fi because I want vibes. Hunter wants vibes. Hold on. Da-la-la-la. Yeah, there we go. There's some good vibes. There's some nice vibes. Come on. Oh, too loud. Too loud. There we go. Okay, nice vibes. Let's see. Is looking for jobs on, say, TikTok a good way to get started? I would say not. Maybe. But I would say instead, Instagram is, I've actually booked probably 20 or 30K worth of work on Instagram in a year. So there is definitely the opportunity, so long as you can establish yourself as a persona, or even find brands on there. So potentially, but also, most buyers go through fairly standardized opportunities, at least stuff for bigger, video games or commercials or so on and so forth. They go through agents, they go through pay to plays, they go through casting directors. So a lot of this is, again, relationships. How would you join? Should you go FICOR or not? The ongoing strike. Okay, so you join if you 9 times out of 10, I would say 99.9% of the time. I'm going to turn this down because it's getting a little loud. 99.99999% of the time, SAG-AFTRA projects go through major agents, agencies, so on and so forth. They really don't go through standard channels by any stretch of the imagination. So basically what happens is, if you book a project, you have essentially 3. You get what's known as Taft-Hartley, where you can join. They sort of usher you in, and then you get 1 credit, 2 credit, 3 credit. You're at a must join. So when you book that 4th SAG project, you either have to go full SAG, full union, or FICOR. FICOR means financial core. You're a dues-paying member of SAG, or partial dues-paying member, but you can work on non-union projects and union projects. If you choose to go FICOR, you can't change So like if you decide later to go full union because you get a really cool opportunity and they're like, oh, we only take SAG, we don't take FICOR, you can't. The thing for me is I will have to make this decision soon. And, you know, everyone's different. Some people have gone full SAG and that works for them. For me, with the amount of SAG projects I've done, I've only done maybe 1 or 2 in the last year, but yet I've done more than 200 non-union projects in the last year. So then it's, again, a balance. I am not going to speak about the ongoing strike. For those of you that aren't aware, SAG-AFTRA is currently striking against major video game companies. I'm not going to speak about it because I feel like, as someone who is only a very newly minted Taft-Hartley member of SAG, or potential member of SAG, I am not as informed. However, I personally believe that AI companies need to pay for license of someone's voice and persona. They can't use it forever. They can't, there has to be consent, compensation, and clarity on how they use it, where they use it, so on and so forth. So that's all I will say for the time being. Let's see. If you could voice any drink brand, what voice would you give them? It depends on the brand. It totally does. Because what I would do for Gatorade is entirely different than what I would do for Celsius, is entirely different than what I would do for Polar. Also, Polar, if you're watching this, sponsor your boy, for fuck's sake. Come on. I have a serious addiction. I have this shit on subscribe and save every 2 weeks. It's great. Okay, so moving on. How do you discuss? Oh, this is a good one. How do you discuss perpetuity? Oh my, with potential clients and letting them know what they're actually doing, assuming they may not realize the repercussions. If they ask for a perpetuity buyout, so that's essentially saying we're going to pay you flat and we can own it forever. We can do it whatever we want for it. I say, hey, depending on the project. So if it's a video game, yes, 9 times out of 10, that will be a perpetuity buy, especially non-union. It's $250 an hour with a 2-hour minimum hire. That's minimum non-union video game rates. Just so that we're all clear, that's minimum. Those will be perpetuity just by the nature of the beast. But for commercial or for explainer or anything like that, I always say hey, where's this going? How does it exist just on, individual, just your website, so on and so forth? Because if it's just it's going to live on our corporate website, we're not going to use it for paid. 9 times out of 10 for me, I'll just do a flat rate. But if there's any sort of paid component, I will either say, hey, here's the 1-year licensure fee for my voice and the performance fee. Here's the perpetuity buy. And the perpetuity buy will be the 1-year buy times 10. And they will always say, whoa, why is this number so big? It's well, if you're buying this in perpetuity, I need to assume that you're going to use it for at least 10 years. So you need to pay me for 10 years up front. Now, what that then does for a lot of clients is they'll say, well, okay, we only have this in the budget. And I'm okay, then just remove perpetuity. Do not devalue yourself. Simply take away what you're offering. Because then it says, well, for that rate, I can do this. Sound good? You're essentially coming to them saying I want to work with you, but if you want to make that number work, cool, great, I can do this, right? So, yeah. Okay, bye, Lucci. Off topic, but I'm loving the plushie you have. Oh, yeah. It's SCP-999. My son. There you go. Let's see. Just want to say that I watched the SW video. Yeah. No, that was a really scary story from my childhood. Who is your favorite actor, and would you ever want to work with them on a project? Oh God, that's such a hard question. It kind of changes constantly. I would love to work with Matthew McConaughey or Mark Hamill. I would love to work with Mark Hamill because I feel like the sheer amount of talent contained in that man. That man is insane, truly insane. What platform would you recommend to publish voice acting work for? Well, work. Your own website. Also, like, for those of you that have not followed me on Instagram, you see the lower thirds down here. Hi There Hunter on Instagram. I've been posting my little comic dubs, and they're popping off with like 40, 50, 100,000 views here and there. And I've had people reach out to me for voice work because they've seen those. So I would say look at what content you can make. Think about it from this perspective. Hold on. I'm going to get my little... My team. Where's my pen? Ah! Hunter and Ian Sinclair. Who is that? Send them my stream or send me their user and I'll reach out to them. Oh God, this is so freaking. It's freaking dirty, dude. Freaking sick, dude. Oh, Latte. Wait, I just recognized you're in here. Hell yeah. Okay, so. Sorry that this whiteboard is dirty, but this is going to be slightly less voiceover related, but it's going to be viewer and content acquisition or just audience acquisition strategy. So think about everything like a funnel, right? What is the content that you upload up here, which is known as top of funnel content, right? So for me, this is comic and meme dubs. That sits for me at the top of my content creation. That gets a lot of views. And then I have content that's middle of funnel. How can I drive from views, like a ton of eyeballs, to start building a bigger audience? So something that may be a little more niche, but maybe more related. So like say I get 1 million viewers up here, and I assume that I may be able to convert like 10% of them. So I'm at like 100K. So of those, 100,000 viewers, right? What would be topics that would be interesting to them that I could create that like I'm genuinely passionate about? And then finally down here is BOFU, bottom of funnel, where, this is probably like your 1 to 5% like hardcore fan of you and what you do. So super niche content. So for me, my middle of funnel of content is more like meme style Lemonade content. So like the ratings videos or stuff like that I am currently working on. Bottom of funnel stuff is like super, super niche down stuff that I know I have a rabid audience for. So this is like all of the Honkai Star Rail, like niche VO stuff, anything like that. So top of funnel is what gets views. Middle of funnel is what builds audience. Bottom of funnel is what makes you money. So that's just the strategy here. Anyway. Thanks, Latte. I really appreciate that. Cool. What voice of Wiz in Dragon Ball and Brook in One Piece? I don't know how to answer that. I'm glad that you like this. Oh yeah, Ian Sinclair. Oh yes, I do know that. When did you start doing Twitch streams? More regularly, like in the last week. I finally decided of like, I really want to take live streaming seriously. So yeah. Anyway, scrolling up. How important do you think a website is? Very important. I spend about $6,000 a year on SEO for my website because I get about $60,000, $70,000 a year of work that comes in through my website. Like, it is important. I have a lot of work that comes in through there. So yes, I would highly suggest. It's important. So let's see. Oh, Tabs. Yes, I did meet you at VO Atlanta. Hi. How are you? I'm glad that you guys are enjoying this. Yeah, I mean, what else you want to know? What other questions do you have? Will you ever make another meme channel like Lemonade? No. I am kind of done with that. But similar style of content is what I'm uploading on Hi There Hunter. And it's more just like comic dubs because it showcases my innate voice acting, right? And that makes me happy. When it comes to agents, do you think it's better to sign with an agency in your state or an agency out of state? That's a great question. It depends on where you live. So if you're in like a secondary market, so primary markets are LA, New York. So like in order, it's LA, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Nashville, and Dallas, Nashville, Miami. And then from there, it's just like kind of regional markets and then local markets. But then there's like tier 1 markets, which are like your LAs, your New Yorks, Chicago's as well. And then from there, it sort of like goes more regional and then local. I would personally say if there's an agency in your city or in your state that clearly is booking work, has people on roster, the biggest litmus is, are they booking work that you know and you've seen? Because it means that they have a good roster of talent. They have a good, kind of eye for talent. Oh, you're in Minnesota. You have literally one of the best agents in the Midwest in Minnesota, and that's Wayman. Wayman Talent. I'm actually signed at Wayman. They're one of my regional representatives. They're great, dude. They literally send like tier 1 stuff. They're amazing. They already said no. Well, guess what? It means that you just need to keep working, because my main agent, Atlas, turned me down 9 times over 8 years before they finally signed me. So you may say they said no. They said no right now because you're not at a level to get there. So yes, it may be a not right now thing, but it doesn't mean that not ever. How do you know you have a good agent, or do you just need more of them, or need to move on, etc.? That's a very good question. Quality of it. So I think it's quality, quantity. There's a couple litmus. Quality and quantity are the first two. Are you getting, big name brands? And are you getting a lot of auditions? If you're getting both, that's a pretty good agent. My first ever agent, which was AB2 Talent, they got me Honkai Star Rail. They're amazing. And that was my first agency that I signed with right out the gate. And they're based in San Francisco. They're amazing. But yeah, they're a California rep. They take, really they're very much, their strategy is, we're a starter agency, but also at the same time, there's a lot of established people. They get a lot of major stuff. I'll probably get, before I signed with Atlas, AB2 probably made up 30 to 50% of my auditions daily. And I would have I do have about probably 20 or 30 auditions that come in a day through my kind of portfolio of agents that I'm signed with. But, the litmus of do you need more agents is more of, can you handle the amount of auditions that you get? I know that I can comfortably do about 20 auditions a day. I will average about 8 to 10, but I can do upwards of 20 to 25 that are good. Latte with that absolute gas answer or a question. Give me one moment. Let me wrap up the agent thing, and I really want to talk about that. That's amazing. look at the volume that you're getting from there. Also, if an agent is trying to get you exclusive, like if someone is trying to sign you exclusively and they're not in a tier 1 city, I'm not going to name names, but there are some agents that will do that. Fuck that. No. That is bullshit, quite frankly. Also, union jobs, 10%. It is always 10%. But non-union, they can take up to 20. Anything past that, it is criminal. Do not allow them to take that. So, 999 gets a head pat. Pat. Okay, so, Latte coming with the absolute gas answer. Do you have any extra small advice on marketing yourself for freelance artists? Yes. It's make content. It's make content in what I was just describing with that funnel of what gets views, what builds a brand, what makes you money, right? What gets views? What is something that is in your niche? Like, first off, there's a multitude of ways to go about this. So I'm just going to talk about content first, and then I'm going to talk about cold calling because there's also a question about cold calling. And I have done that for my VO business. When I make content that gets views, it is what is funny, what is short, what can get people's attention, give them maybe 1 or 2 laughs, and then they can either choose to follow, leave a like, leave a comment, and move on with their lives. Middle funnel, how can I better serve the people that are actually resonating with me? And then bottom of funnel, what is something where I can make more direct call outs talking about my work with me, stuff like that. Reaching out to, so something that I've actually thought about a lot is for people that do any sort of like creative process. So like you're a freelance writer, you're a photographer, you're a voice actor, whatever. Designer in Latte's case. Latte is an incredible artist, by the way. Go, everyone follow Latte right now. Fucking do it. Otherwise, I'll come to your house and I'll fucking tear out your drywall and steal your copper. Something that I have done in the past, and this might be a little unethical, but it has worked. Look at people that are hiring or companies that are hiring for jobs that have your specific thing that you do listed. Figure out who is hiring for that job. Reach out to them directly on LinkedIn. Say, hey, I saw this role. Don't know if you're the right person for this. I wanted to send along my portfolio in general in case you're hiring freelance, insert the thing that you do. So that's one strategy. The other strategy is just getting good about figuring out other of opportunities to both reach out on a cold, but then also figure out, other areas that you could potentially sell your product in where other people potentially aren't. So like, I'm not saying everyone here go on fucking LinkedIn right now by any stretch of the imagination. That's not what I'm saying. Instead, what I'm offering is, can you, let me think about this for a second. Do you go on Upwork? Do you go on Fiverr? Do you find other platforms that are already hiring or like places for you to sort of like put out your stuff that you can potentially offer something ancillary or different that no one else is doing? So say you're a photographer and you're really passionate about, like, say you just got a drone, for example. How can you maybe fly your drone over some houses for sale? Like if you go on Zillow, for example, I'm just fucking throwing something out here. Just think about it. Where you take some like really nice photos with your drone and then you find the real estate agent and you send one that has a watermark saying like, hey, I took this really nice photo of a house that you have listed. Do you do any drone photography for your listings? Now that is a totally weird, random thing, but notice how I'm saying like you're a photographer that's doing a specific thing where you're simply looking at the problem or a potential solution differently. So, yeah, that is just, I want you to just think creatively of how can you solve a need that people may not even be aware of that is a need for them. So something that I do as a voice actor is I reach out to foreign YouTube channels that are in like German or Spanish or French or so on and so forth. And I'll say, hey, I dub YouTube channels into English. Do you have a video that maybe is a minute long that I can just show you what I do? And I've found in the past it can increase revenue for people up to 75%. I'm making that opportunity for myself. I'm not asking for a job. I'm showing value because I'm confident in my own skills and abilities. Cold calling. How do you go about that? Specifically in VO or in general? Because I feel like for my cold email strategy for VO in particular, I always try and go from the place of I'm not trying to sell you. I want to help, but I also want to understand problems. So I will normally reach out to a production company or so on and so forth. I send about 30 emails a day automatically. I use a software called Apollo. It's not an AI. It's more of just like, it's an email client that, you can just sort of automate email sends and so on and so forth. And so I will find a production company, I'll find their work, and I'll reach out to them saying like, hey, do you have 5 minutes coming up to just talk on the phone about X problem that I have solved for other people? Because I want to get your perspective on this. Sorry for the cold reach. Found your page. I'm just reaching out. And always at the end is, hey, do you mind if we keep this conversation going, where I genuinely ask them questions, I listen for their thoughtful answers because I'm looking to them for advice. I don't want to sell them. The sell comes later. I could talk about this for hours, but my cold reach strategy is always from the place of like, understand someone's pain point, listen to the advice they would give to me, give them advice of an answer that I have solved for someone else, and then give them like a soft snowball pitch or like underhand pitch of, hey, this is how I solve this problem. What do you think about that? 9 times out of 10, that will be loaded with this idea in the back of their minds of like, oh, whoa, that was really innovative. There we go. I sometimes do on-screen work locally and follow a DP in town. He posted a real estate video and I contacted him about doing VO. Smart. Yes. No, that's tabs. Absolutely. That's smart. That's really fucking cool. Internships. Do you think you can intern with various companies can help with your early VO career? Yes and no. If you're in a major market like LA, New York, and you intern at a company like Rocket Sound, or like if you're in Dallas, like Okratron 3000 or Crunchyroll or anyone like that, maybe. But do not assume that an internship will lead to roles. Rather, it would be more helpful if you were interning with casting directors rather than production companies. Now, that could be different, but if you want to understand the people that are buying voiceover, go to the companies where they're casting voiceover. How do you get those kind of stats? KPI type stats is more of just like in my own research of like what I've been able to ask clients after the fact, but I've been able to quantify those revenue stats purely from the fact that I have gone so hardcore into YouTube content localization. It's something that I offer that very few people offer outside, that I've done just my own research in. How do you keep your voices consistent between takes? That is great. Very good question. If I'm in a session, normally we'll have a reference file. So there's a game that I'm on right now where we started working on it in January, and there's like a reference section for specific points. And if I'm doing, like, I will always have the voice in the back of my head. I'll normally have a phrase that I can just switch into. And I can like, I know of like, oh, if I say this, I'll have the voice just kind of like more immediately there. But they'll also have like, it's about maybe 15, 20 seconds of a file where they'll just play it. And then it's like, oh, okay, yeah. So that I did it in this way. And then, it'll just be like a good reference. Or if they'll say like, hey, do you need to hear the reference? I said, yes, please. Just so that I have it, kind of immediate. How How often do you check your tags? Tags where? Like, what do you mean by that? Home studios, what equipment do you recommend? How should you treat your space? Very good question. A lot of people use their closet, and that is a perfect place to start. I would highly suggest starting in a closet. Treat just get like a thick carpet if you're not already on carpet in your closet. Carpet on the ground, simple moving blanket on top. And then like any hard surface, maybe just like a couple of pieces of foam. Focus on shotgun microphones so that you can remove a lot of like the room presence and instead just have something that is much more focused on your voice. Because with a shotgun mic, the pickup pattern is going to be very narrow. With a cardioid, so like discardioid. See this? Discardioid. Now, this is a very overdriven, very compressed sound. Because it's doing a lot of shit in the background. Don't use this for voiceover. This is perfectly fine for streaming. It's not good for voiceover. Instead, with a shotgun microphone, because it is so focused on you, on your voice, rather than the room around you, you can get away with less treatment. So start there. That's how I started. I did multiple nationals in my closet. Otherwise, when you can afford it, big boy booth, good. TikTok. People tagging you in posts on social media. I don't normally check my tags that much. But unless like someone has tagged me in something recently, I mean, I mostly like when I upload, I'm not really looking at my tags. I more so look at my analytics. Just because I'm very data focused, I guess. But I mean, I can check my tags. Any shotgun mics you recommend other than the Sennheiser MKH416? You mean my fucking daily driver that I adore? I love the 416. Who wants to go shopping with Hunter? We're going to go shopping. I'm going to show you some microphones. Time to go shopping with Hunter. So, let's go to B&H photo video. Let's say you did a job on screen for a bank and your audition for a VO job for another bank. Would that be a potential conflict? Unless they say in the audition that you have an exclusivity, no. If they're calling for exclusivity, then you have a conflict. If they're not calling exclusivity, you don't have a conflict. When would you recommend starting VO, VA work in your life? Are you ready to start trying? Then go. That's it. Can we buy a 747? Man, I wish. That'd be really cool. Should I buy microphones of Facebook Marketplace? Yes or no? Well, depends. I would say so long as it's of brand and like it comes with in the box, maybe. Okay, so we're gonna go pro audio. All right. Oh boy. Yeah. So a lot of you are going to be very interested in the large diaphragm condenser, and that's totally great. But if you don't have a fully treated space, it may not be your best option. So what I offer instead is the shotgun microphone. Fuck USB. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. So, let's go to, I want to sort by, actually, there we go. Perfect. So, the little brother to the MKH416 is the Sennheiser MKE600. Great microphone. 90% the audio quality of the 416, a third of the price. Highly suggest the MKE600. Great microphone. Genuinely, like, really, really love this mic. Let's see. So this is my daily driver, the MKH416. This is used in like 99% of commercials and promos and trailers, and like I'd say like in video games, it's like maybe used 50 to 60% of the time. All my auditions are done on the 416, and then I will normally move to either a TLM 103, my TF47 if I'm in my booth, or if I'm in studio. 9 times out of 10, I'm recording on a U87, U47, or yeah. Hello, how are you doing? MKE 600 good for travel rig. Yes, very good for travel rig. Highly suggested. The NTG2 is another one of the microphones that I own personally. I love this mic. Great microphone as well. Very similar to the MKE 600. Let's see what else. Don't call me Unk. God, we're so rude. But hello, how are you doing? Let me see here. Let's look at mics under $200. Because if you're gonna invest in something, I would say like try to invest in something that's like good, that will last you for a while. We are going to want let's see, connector type. XLR 3-pin. Let's see. We're going to do bestsellers, because why not? I've never heard of Senai. The Audio-Technica AT875R is okay. I want to say, what happened to Asden? Does Asden even exist anymore, or is Asden gone? Asden might have imploded. I had a microphone for the longest time. The Asden. Oh shit! Hold on. I wonder what happened to Asden. SGM. I think it was the SGM 1X. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Okay. So this microphone, you can find this. This is one of the first shotgun microphones I ever had for when I was making like short films and stuff, and it's AA powered for Phantom. I think it also has Phantom power, so you don't need a AA. You can get this microphone for $75, and it's a great shotgun mic. Like, it's a great starter microphone, and it rejects a lot of sound. So, very good. Hunter, make my BF get on. What do you mean? But you have Unk energy. Fair. Do you have any tips for saliva from pooling in your mouth and messing up speech? Yes. Eat a green apple. Granny Smith apples are great for that. Hunter gives off big, cool cousin vibes. Thank you. That's so kind. Someone said that I give off daddy vibes and I wanted to kill them because I was like, absolutely fucking not. Do not put that on me. Oh, Apollo or others. Okay, so I use Apollo for fucking everything. I love Apollo, so UAD in particular, because UAD I can have the preset chain, basically the software model preset chain that is in my studio. I can have that basically copied to my travel rig, so my travel rig sounds 99.9% the same as my booth at home. So highly suggested, but it's very expensive. So if we'd like to go shopping, I can show you some options. I've VA'd for friends and family for years and want to voice my own comic cartoon on YouTube, but I'm more anxious about that. Any advice for getting rid of my bundle of nerves? Just do it. You just got to do it. Just got to make it happen. The only person that is stopping you is you. And what I highly suggest is you are okay. And you just have to start. The easiest way to build confidence is repetition. I promise you that. So let's talk interface. So, audio interface. It also totally depends on if you're Mac or PC. You don't sleep in the same place you make videos and stream? No, this is my office. This isn't my house. Yeah. So, let's do Hunter, where's my LAX video at? It's coming. Lucci just needs to do it. What's your general plan for right now? Ooh, we can talk about that in a little bit, but let me show you some interfaces. Scarlett Solo is a perfectly fine starter interface. Motu M2 is also great. My current daily driver for my... So I use the UAD... Hold on. Why did you get big? Big. So, this is the Universal Audio Apollo Solo. This is my travel rig. I love this. There's a USB Type-C version and a Thunderbolt 3 version. Highly suggested. So, if we want to go... Yeah. Bye, tabs. Thank you. But yeah, there are a ton of options. It really just depends on what you're willing to spend. So let's talk plan. My plan is I want to be a voice actor, and that is really the majority of my plan. And I was working on a movie, and it kind of imploded, and I still want to work on it, but it's not my main focus right now. My main focus is I want to create content because I've been doing a lot of content strategy for like major brands and like content consulting and stuff like that. But thanks for the follow, dude. I appreciate that. Welcome. But quite frankly, I really want to just focus on my own thing and my own stories. So let's talk about the subathon that I'm working on. So I'm about to announce this later this year. Bleep. Ike's or Jersey Mike's? Well, I have an Ike's within walking distance of my studio, but I like Jersey Mike's a lot. Ike's is incredible, though. I just sometimes prefer Jersey Mike's. So my first subathon, I am going to start in LA. I'm going to start the subathon in LA. Once we hit 10,000 followers on Twitch, I have to raise in 24 hours. I have to raise enough money to buy a car in LA, get enough gasoline to drive all the way to Las Vegas. I then have to sell the car, and whatever money we have left over in Vegas and from the subathon, like what we've raised to that point, we take all of it and we put it on either red or black in a casino. And if it hits, then I get a plane ticket home. And if it doesn't, I have to start the whole challenge over again. And I have to buy a car in Las Vegas and drive it back, all within 24 hours. And if I don't, I have to shave my head on stream. And I'm finally going to make good, if I don't, on the promise of if I didn't daily upload, I'm going to shave my head, because I never did. So that's my first subathon. And I want to create content because I want to tell stories. And I realized how much I value, especially in this era of AI, the genuine desire to have human connection. Love knowing that I've created content that's resonated with so many of you. And that's really important to me. So, yeah. But here's the thing. The car recommendation, like, I am just going to focus on finding the first car that I can for like, so if we get to a point where it's like, okay, cool. Like so far in the subathon, we're like 4 hours in, we've raised $1,000, like this, I've made $1,000 so far. Okay. I'm going to use that $1,000, find $1,000 car on Facebook Marketplace, and then just go buy it and then drive. And then, you know, depending on the time of night or time of day, like if I leave LA at 6 p.m. on Friday, which is when I like whatever Friday it is where I hit 10,000, then I'm going to schedule the subathon for whatever is the next Friday. If I leave at 6 p.m. on a Friday, I could be in traffic for 8 hours, meaning that I'm not going to get to Las Vegas until 2 a.m. So, yeah. that's the subathon plan, and I'm going to announce that publicly in a little bit. I am just editing that video. But yeah, I think it'd be really funny. Instead of buying a car, why not hire one so you can bet more? Because it would be more funny if I bought the car. Also because I really wanted to have my own like kind of Top Gear challenge. Like I always wanted to be on Top Gear. And this is like a really like all of the subathon ideas that I have right now, or like just because I recognize for me, my time, recording or making content or doing whatever, when I can stream, I can make content at the same time that I can also, entertain you all and so on and so forth. Like I'm just trying to better use my time. But also I think live streaming and like live content is so important right now in this era of AI, because like there's just so much content out there that's just fake. But yeah, so you still live? Yes, Lucci, I'm still live. Why are you surprised? So, yeah. I don't know if I really want to get a Lucid though. I would rather get a Rivian, quite frankly. But yeah. So, anyway. Well, so that's kind of what I had for how to voiceover good. But yeah, so I think I might call it here. And yeah. Hello. How's it going, man? I'm lactose intolerant. Can I still be a voice actor? That's funny. Yes, obviously. But yeah, I think I might just end it here. But I'm really looking forward to announcing the subathon here in probably like I'll probably post that video on Wednesday, depending on if I edit it or Lucci edits it, so on and so forth. But yeah, have a great one, everyone. And I will see you Wednesday at same time, where we're going to do probably Among Us. Because I was like, I won't play Among Us. It's been 5 years. It's been 74 years. Proud. All right. Bye, everyone.